Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now on this particular issue, I'm a little bit conflicted. I know a lot of people like to advocate for term limits, and many people like to advocate for a cap on age or an age limit for people serving in government. But the problem is there's outliers like Donald Trump. Sure, the guy's almost 80, but he's also hitting holes in ones on the golf course. He's sharp as a tack, sleeping like 5 hours a day, working harder than most 30-year-old men, and just getting stuff done. So the question is, without an age cap, how do you deal with the dementia-ridden Democrat caucus, and especially their leaders, these damn Democrat fossils, occupying major positions of power for not only just a decade or 2 decades, but for entire lifetimes? Something has to be done if it's not congressional term limits. It should be a basic health exam, a basic cognitive exam, frankly, stringent exams, and if you don't hit the standards, then you should be ineligible. Serve the American people. I mean, just this basic standard is probably one of the biggest things that's missing in the world of politics. You are being led by corrupt incompetents who are serving under and being led by geriatric dementia patients. It's not just Joe, folks. The issue is much deeper and much wider reaching, and this frightening new viral clip involving Nancy Pelosi basically says it all. Let me show you guys what's going on. We got some stuff to cover, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so just basic stuff. There are standards in every single working environment, it seems as though, except for politics. You know, to play as a professional athlete, you need to pass a physical exam. You can't compete as an athlete if you have a heart issue. Professional athletes rely on their physical abilities to do their jobs, where in the world of politics, politicians rely on their mental capabilities, their intelligence, ability to problem solve and negotiate, and implement good policy for the American people to do their jobs. But then why is it that the first, second, and even third most powerful people in the United States of America, from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi, why is it that they are all utterly incompetent? We all know Joe's brain no work. We all know Kamala Harris can't speak in sentences. And well, Nancy Pelosi joins the crew.
We're sending stuff over to the Senate. Well, most of the product that we've done is, except now what we may have added in the last day or so, and some of what we added is Senate to the bill, like a hearing. Bernie doesn't like hearing. Excuse me, Bernie loves hearing. Manchin doesn't want hearing in the bill and all that stuff. So some is Senate-oriented, and then we have the family medical need. We figured if they're putting things in, then we can put something in, even if Manchin doesn't like it. So, so we are getting some bird and privilege. I think mostly we're getting privilege scrub, because privilege scrub is deadly to a bill. Birdable, it's important. You have to take it out, but privilege violation can take you out. So we're again getting that as we go along as well. But when we pass a bill, then they will see it in its aggregate and make some.
Any concerns that any of this is, quote, messaging, because that they have to take some of those things out regardless, no matter what you send over? You said you weren't going to send a messaging bill.
No, we're not sending a messaging bill, but we want to be sure that what we send is not birdable or bird bath or privilege scrub. They're the two exercises we're getting engaged. Bathing exercise.
Can somebody please explain to me what was just said? I actually have no idea. And really, once again, it must be repeated. It needs to be put into perspective. Nancy Pelosi is the lead lawmaker in the American legislative system. Nancy Pelosi is at the head of writing bills that form a policy, which then hit the floor for vote. She's the one making probably some of the most important decisions that actually impact your life. But Nancy Pelosi also can't even explain basic concepts, going on for almost 2 minutes straight, having said nothing, going in circles, mumbling what seems to be literal gibberish. And probably the most concerning part is that it seems to be a trend. And not to take a partisan stance here, but if Republicans were in the same state, the exact same argument would apply. But it does seem much more prevalent in the top ranks of the Democrat Party than anywhere else. I mean, for Pete's sakes, what was it, like 2 years ago, where Jerry Nadler, another deteriorating Democrat fossil, had to slowly waddle away from the podium and off stage, as it seemed he actually pooped his pants during a public event with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, at the start, you could see him lifting his left butt cheek. I can't even do this. And then he slowly waddles away.
As I bring on Congresswoman Maloney, I want to join the distinguished chairman in acknowledging, acknowledge Maxine Waters is doing some very important work on this subject, not part of this package, but part of preserving our democracy. With that, I'm pleased to yield to the distinguished chairwoman.
Most likely because he filled up his diaper. I mean, I'm laughing and struggling to get through this segment seriously, but it's not necessarily because it's just funny, more so because it's surreal. These are the most influential Democrat politicians. These are the people that are leading the nation. And this is exactly what I mean by standards. Where have the standards gone for this to be even considered remotely acceptable? And of course, another example, California Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein, which the very far-left Vanity Fair reports, California Senator Dianne Feinstein's memory is rapidly deteriorating. And this right here, folks, is basically the current state of the Washington world or the Washington racket. The concept of public service isn't supposed to be a lifelong career. I mean, in certain rare cases it could be, if it actually makes sense. But at some point, you gotta pass over the baton, pass it to the next generation. People who are more intelligent, more in tune with the times, more capable to take over and lead the next generation. Instead, what you see are these career politicians who shoot to immense power and fame at a young age. And throughout their careers, they become increasingly more powerful, especially when it comes to fundraising through their connections. They hold and control the money in the political world, and that essentially makes them unstoppable. And they then continue to sit in those government positions for 50 years. I mean, it's absurd. I mean, at one point, don't you have enough power and wealth? Isn't it time to retire or to do something else with your life? Isn't it time to take a step back and let the next generation lead? But it seems that these people absolutely not. It never ends. They will not relinquish power, regardless how many times they soil themselves or how incoherent and incompetent they become. And probably the craziest part of all is that they keep winning their re-election campaigns. Well, I mean, in the end, it's not exactly surprising considering they hold on to all the power, specifically the fundraising power. It shows the strength of money in politics. And once again, it highlights the irony or the hypocrisy of Democrat voters who are always talking about dark political money and paid off politicians. They love that talking point when it's aimed at Republican politicians, yet they don't seem to realize that their own political party is ran by a bunch of political fossils and political puppets who are completely controlled by these donors, and they keep voting for these corrupt puppet politicians because they spend millions upon millions of dollars in ad campaigns and name recognition, a vicious circle of stupidity from voter to incompetent politician. Of course, the Washington wheel continues to turn. My current view is hopefully Donald Trump wins the presidency in 2024, and then after his second term, well, it's probably time for term limits. Of course, that'll never happen, just like the idea of Nancy Pelosi not enriching herself continuously through insider trading in her political position. It'll just never happen. But that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, of course, make sure to leave a like. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.